Should you move to Japan in 2026? Are you thinking about living and working in Japan? That depends. Do you have debt in your country? If you do, no, do not come to Japan. If you are debt-free in your home country, you can come to Japan. The problem starts with salaries. Salaries are very low in Japan, and that's because inflation and everything is really cheap in Japan, so it's all relative. But if you have debt in your home countries, the low salary will just barely pay off your interest, and you'll probably never pay the principal of your debt. So you'll just live in a state of floating neutrality, never saving money for retirement, never really paying off your debt. It won't work. Japan is not the country for you. You won't be able to save money. Now, it really depends how much debt you have. If you have a little debt, yeah, you can probably get by living and working in Japan in 2026. This video will focus on the financial aspects of Japan and surviving in Japan financially. So, regarding working contracts, a lot of working contracts, it's been getting progressively worse in Japan for years, for everybody, not just foreigners. Lots of contracts will peg you at 29.5 hours a week, under 30 hours. They do this because they're greedy and they don't want to pay benefits. So, for example, there's two pensions in Japan. One pension is supported by your company, your employer, and they pay 50% of your contributions and you pay the other half. But if your working contract is below 30 hours a week, you're not going to qualify for that pension. You'll be kicked into and defaulted into the National Pension Service, which is for part-time workers, freelancers, etc. The same thing for healthcare. Healthcare, there's basically three types in Japan. There's private, there's employer-based healthcare, and then there's just a national healthcare, universal healthcare for anybody. Anybody can get it. So financially, the best healthcare is through your employer because they help subsidize your costs. And guess what? If your working contract is, again, below 30 hours a week, you're probably not going to qualify or get a decent contract that's going to help pay for your healthcare. So you'll be kicked onto, just like pension, you'll be kicked onto the basic national healthcare, which is exceptional. All healthcare in Japan is very good, and it's all very cheap. So these are not huge problems, at least the healthcare. The pension is a problem because all pension in Japan are losing opportunities. They are not investment vehicles in any way in Japan. Japan's pension are guaranteed losses, and that's for Japanese people too. So, that's not a great starting point for your financial prospects in Japan. You can come here, you can look for work, you can get a job, you probably won't get a good contract. And that's if you speak Japanese too. It doesn't matter if you speak Japanese or not. You're probably still going to get a really poor contract, especially if you're a foreigner working in Japan, even if you speak Japanese. The visa issue. So Japan doesn't have a retirement visa. Japan also doesn't have other visa options for like digital nomads or travelers, other people trying to stay short term. There's a 3-month tourist visa, and then you just would keep getting that over and over and over again. You'd have to leave the country every 3 months. It's a big hassle. If you want to stay in Japan long term because there's no retirement visa, your ticket is to get married, is to become a spouse and to stay that way. Even then, you have to renew your visa 1 or every 3 years, and maybe every 5 years. There is a long-term visa in Japan. I think you qualify for it after maybe 10 years of living in Japan, and you have to have a certain financial, basic financial levels to qualify for that long-term visa. So you're not going to get that for a long time. So that's out of the question if you come here and you want to live and work and have a long-term visa. It's just not possible. So basically you would get a subpar working contract and you would have to get a new working visa every 1 or 3 years. And that's how it works. Or you get married and then you still have to renew your visa every 1 or 3 years until you get that permanent residency visa, which is after about 10 years in Japan. But it's not all rice triangles, unprotected sex, and depressed, miserable, overworked robots in Japan. Yes, there are many social problems here and lots of crazy people high on stress. You can watch my other videos on this channel to get a feeling for what Japan is really like. There are high crime rates, but they go unreported for the most part, so Japan has a false reputation of safety. It's not safe in Japan. It's very dangerous, especially if you're a Japanese woman. I've been attacked on trains in Japan 4 times. So it's definitely not safe. You really gotta, if you're considering moving here in 2026, you really have to consider all the factors, not just financial.